everybody is turning, because this is BuzzFeed news. I'm not getting this article from Bounding into Comics or That Park Place, which I know has a right-leaning skew to everything. I'll admit that. But this is from BuzzFeed, which is definitely a left-leaning publication, I guess, website, whatever you want to call it. This is nuts. It's about The Boys. I'll get into my opinions about the season here after this, but people are seriously outraged after The Boys showrunner Eric Kripke dismisses a brutal SA scene as hilarious.
This guy.
Downplaying a character being subjected to, well, you can read it right there, ST, against his will. Some struggle snuggle time, we'll say. Eric said, quote, "I love that it's just such a perfect setup that he doesn't know his own safe word. It's just like a beautiful comedy setup that he's trying to find it the whole time," end quote. Yikes. Yeah, if you see this picture right here, this is what's happening. So Huey is in the costume. They found the Spider-Man ripoff of The Boys, which is, his name is Web Weaver.
Right.
He shoots webs out of a hole above his butt, like a real spider, I guess.
Ew.
And he's an addict of illegal substances, we'll say. And substances you could find at a hospital. So he passes out and they steal his suit and Huey poses as him. And Tech Knight, originally I thought they described him as like their Iron Man, but he's more of like their Batman. And instead of a bat cave, he has a BDSM cave, basically. I don't know how else to describe it.
Ew, David.
And of course, he throws in, "Oh, I got my money through my great great grandparents were slave traders, and they owned plantations, and that's how my family got rich." And then he makes some racist friggin' comment to, like, right to A-Train's face.
Of course.
It's like, my gosh, people that don't know, A-Train's black. In the episode, the boys are trying to infiltrate a right-wing event. I'll get into all that. At Tech Knight's home, with Tech essentially the show's version of Batman. In order to do this, Jack Quaid's character, Huey, dresses up as another Soup, Web Weaver, a Spider-Man-inspired villain. I mean, I don't know if he's a villain, but all Soups are a-holes in the show. Prior to this episode, it was established that Tech was Huey's childhood hero. Keep that in mind. Unbeknownst to Huey and the rest of the gang, Web Weaver was going to Tech's headquarters to audition to be his sidekick, which involves going through a series of BDSM-inspired challenges.
Oh! Ew! Dude! What the fuck?
Yeah. The former CEO of the main company, Vought, gets involved. There you can see he's like gonna cut a hole in him to do things before he's rescued. And finally, he breaks down to his girlfriend at the end of the episode because his dad just died a pretty brutal death in this episode before. Yeah.
But why? Why would you do that? Why would you do any of that?
In the interview, the publication asked, "Let's start with the Tech Knight dungeon part. Where did the idea come from, and why bring Huey into the situation now, kicking him when he's down by having him SA'd by his childhood hero after his dad just died?" Look at this effing dork. Dude, I loved Supernatural until the last couple of seasons, but you're a freaking dork.
Nerd! Nerd!
I like this. He says, "Well, that's a dark way of looking at it. We viewed it as hilarious. Obviously, Tech Knight is our version of Batman, and we wanted to really play around with that trope, Batman's fascist underpinnings as a really wealthy dude who hunts poor people and then profits of the incarceration." Like, what? Have you read a Batman comic, dude?
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
He doesn't hunt down poor people. He finds criminals in the streets doing horrible things. It's not like he just like busts a dude like jaywalking and just like beats him to a pulp. He finds these people doing disgusting, brutal criminal acts, and he takes them down. He refuses to kill them. And yeah, he throws them in jail where they effing belong. How is that fascist? What a psycho, man.
Take a big step back and literally your own face!
So that was one. Tech Knight was already set up to be a freak, of course. So we were kind of already halfway there. Yeah, and he said the Bat Cave would be an S dungeon. Of course. Yeah, because everybody in the show is a deviant, like just over the top deviant, disgusting. And I know the comics were pretty bad, but holy crap. Their version of Sean Hannity, basically, because he looks a lot like Sean Hannity. He does some right wing show, whatever. He's secretly a deviant that likes stuff up his keister.
Butt stuff, butt stuff, butt stuff.
Butt stuff. Cowboy butt sex.
It's like over the top disgusting stuff, and like this version of Batman has some weird thing where he every time he sees a hole, he's got to have relations with it, whether it's an inanimate object or not.
You are a sad, strange little man, and you have my pity.
And he goes on about how awesome this was, but like they ask the obvious question. They're like, so why is this funny? But in season 1, where Starlight gets essayed by the Deep, who is their version of Aquaman, but that was like super serious and a somber moment. And they try arguing. They're like, well, Huey volunteered to go down there and whatever. Like, Huey didn't volunteer for this. He volunteered to go in and like pose as web weaver to get information. He didn't know this was going to happen. And he almost got mutilated and violated for it. And they give the SA hotline right there. This is nuts, man.
I think you're all f***ed in the head.
And this show is just over the top. And I love the people on Twitter nowadays, by the way. Whenever anybody has a complaint about this season, they go, oh, it took them 4 seasons to realize they're actually making fun of them, talking about right-wingers.
Sure, Jan.
Like, dude, I even said it in a previous video. I was like, The Boys is woke. The Boys has always been pretty woke, pretty outright with their politics. They weren't trying to hide it. However, they would also make fun of the left. They would make fun of the people in the middle. They made fun of literally everything you could make fun of. And they weren't right out loud in your face about this one group is super bad and evil and everything they do is disingenuous. And by the way, they're all deviants and like over the top disgusting people. But this season, then they're like, everybody on the left, oh, they're just so pure and their intentions are for good, and they're just fighting for truth and justice.
What, that guy? What, do you think he's got malicious intent? Are you reading bad signals? No, he's not that kind of guy. He's a good guy.
Oh, but it's that evil Homelander and all of his right-wing pals, and they're even throwing crap in there like that firecracker chick that just joined the Seven. That's like a Southern girl pretending to be some right-wing Christian, whatever, talking like Alex Jones and Marjorie Taylor Greene morphed into one person. And she literally in the latest episode said something about Jewish space lasers. It's like, you're like right on the nose with everything.
Why aren't you more ashamed of yourself?
Their character Ezekiel, that was supposed to be some like mega pastor or whatever, of course was a deviant, and he was gay behind the scenes, and he was and he was like pretty brutal, behind the scenes. Of course.
I knew it. I'm surrounded by ass.
Because they're so on the nose. It's not even, I don't care so much about the politics. It's just lazy at this point to where I don't even know, like, I'll finish the season, I'll finish the series, whatever. But this show has definitely jumped the shark, and it's gotten lazy with everything it's done in just this entire season. There hasn't been anything that's like, yeah, they've got the over the top gore, they've got, the deviancy, and just but the politics stuff of it is just so lazily written and it's not intelligent in any way, shape, or form. There's nothing about it that is good, smart storytelling. And it's not because they're making fun of my side. I watch left-leaning stuff all the time. As long as you're intelligent and clever, whatever. South Park makes fun of everybody, and I watch it. Family Guy makes fun of the right most of the time, and I still enjoy it, and I watch it. This is just like ham-fisted, just like stupidity, and I think Eric Kripke secretly is a deviant himself that wants to do all this.